One of my first jobs out of college was managing the ad account for a national fitness chain here in the US. And we had 16 Google ad accounts because we're advertising in 16 different states. And within each account, we had 50 to 100 active campaigns at any given time. So learning how to use the Google Ads editor, I realized really quickly, is the difference between success and failure in certain roles. So if you're watching this and you want to learn how to use the Google Ads editor to bulk upload campaigns, ads, keywords, and leverage it, you are in the right place. If you're wondering why listen to me, my team runs the ads for companies like ActiveCampaign, Mixpanel, NetSpy, Checker, to name a few. We manage global brands, 7-figure ad budgets. And what I'm going to walk you through is the exact same process on how to use the ads editor that I teach my internal team. So I really focus on the 80-20, and I've also set up a campaign import template that we use in our agency that you can also get access to in the description box down below. So let's get started. First step is you're going to want to actually download the Google Ads editor. I'm not going to go through that because it's super basic and I'm assuming you've already done that. But if you haven't, go ahead and download the Google Ads editor. Once you've done that, you're going to come here into the Accounts Manager tab. And what you want to do is you want to download your Google Ad account. If you're an agency watching this, you can also download your MCC account and then download all of your client child accounts underneath. So once you've downloaded your account, you're going to come here and you're going to click download to download all of the most recent activity. So after clicking add and then adding your account, click download, click all campaigns, and then just make sure you download every single change in the Google Ads editor. So the cool thing about the Google Ads editor is it allows you to make changes offline. Now, I know that might not seem like a big deal, but when you're making a lot of changes and then God forbid your Wi-Fi cuts out, or for some reason you're making changes on an airplane at 35,000 feet in the air, like I have done in the past when I was traveling, this is where the tool can be really powerful, that it can work offline, especially when you buy the Wi-Fi package and it doesn't work like it should be. This is where you're going to be thankful that the Google Ads editor allows you to make these changes offline. So in terms of getting familiar with the Google Ads editor, let's walk through the interface really quickly here. First things first, this will save you a load of trouble down the line. Learn this the hard way, is number one, make sure you're in the right account by looking here on the top of the screen. You can see which account you're actually making changes in. I can't tell you the amount of times that I've made changes and I was about to bulk upload and publish a bunch of changes, and then I realized I was actually working in the wrong account. It's super easy to do, so make sure that doesn't happen to you by always referencing here to the top of the page to make sure you're actually in the right account. Now, the Google Ads editor follows the exact same account structure that your Google Ad account follows. So the same hierarchy, meaning we start at the account level, then we go to the campaign level, then the ad groups, then the keywords, and then the ads. So for example, if you look here on the left, this is the account that you're in right now. So in this case, Google Ads Tutorials. If I expand this, I see campaigns. If I expand the campaign, then underneath the campaign, I see ad groups. If I click into an ad group and I look down here, I can see there's keywords. And then if I scroll even further down, I can see there are ads. So it follows the exact same structure. Now, in terms of getting familiar with the Google Ads editor and seeing what you need to see and making your life more pleasant in here, the thing that you're going to really want to make sure you take note of is the ability to leverage filters. Filters are going to save you a lot of headache navigating the editor, because here you can see everything, every single item and scope within your Google Ad account in one place, which can be quite overwhelming. So the first filter I recommend that you leverage is you leverage this filter here called Hide Empty Types. What this is going to do is it's going to only show me the things that have an associated value. So for example, right now you see I have a lot of different items being displayed to me with a count of 0. Once I switch on this filter, Hide Empty Types, you can see it automatically just cleaned up all of the things that I don't need to see right now. And now I can only see the things that actually have an associated value. So this is going to really help clean up your view. The second filter I recommend that you leverage is if you come here to the top, switch these filters based on the campaign types that you're trying to create or optimize or modify or whatever your goal is inside the editor. Because if you have large scale accounts, like for example, for our clients, we're running global brands, running in multiple regions across multiple campaign types, multiple channels. This one filter can save a lot of time and headache. So I highly recommend it. And then the next thing I highly recommend that you do as well is when you're in the Google Ads editor, you leverage the search filter here. So if you want to just search down and filter by a specific region, you can search that region's abbreviation, your campaign naming convention. So in this case, USA, and now I only see my USA campaigns. Another really helpful tidbit. Okay, so now that you're familiar with the Google Ads editor, let's walk through the mechanics of actually uploading your first campaign, because you're going to learn a lot from that experience. And I promise you, it's going to be confusing at first, but it's like anything in life. It's a little confusing at first. You try, practice, it becomes easy. So what you need to do, step number one, is you need a campaign import template. This is arguably the hardest part of the whole process, and I've got you covered. So I'm going to give you access to our Google Ads Editor campaign import template that we use in our agency with the brands that I spoke about, with these 7-figure global brands. It's the exact same one that we use internally, and you can get access to this for free, no opt-in required. Just go to the article in the description box of this video, and you can find it in that article underneath the campaign import step. So once you have your campaign import template, what you're going to want to do is you're going to actually fill it out, which is what we're going to do here. So for the sake of time, I'm not boring you to death. I already filled this out with some example values. I'll walk you through it, but you're going to want to pause this video if you're following along, grab a copy of the template, and actually go through the work of filling it out. So this template, just to quickly walk you through it, starting from the left, we have campaign information. As you continue through it, you have ad group information, keyword information, and then you have all of your ad copy information. So you can see here headlines. If I keep scrolling through, headline positions. If I keep scrolling through, I've got all the headlines, all the descriptions, path 1, path 2, and final URL. So you've got everything you need to bulk import every different facet of your campaign right here in this template. So moving through it here, we've got here the campaign. This is where we're going to start with. What's the campaign in which we want to make these changes? Now, when you're making changes in a spreadsheet format, you have to understand that each row is unique, meaning if I wanted to add multiple ad groups to this one campaign, I need to create multiple rows reflecting the different ad groups that I want to add to the associated one campaign. So in this case, I've got a non-brand campaign following our naming conventions as an example. If you don't have a good naming convention, you can leverage this one as a starting point. But basically, it's region, campaign theme, campaign network, language, match type, device. And you can see here it's North America, non-brand search, English, exact, all devices. And I've got in here an ad group of software where, let's say in this case, I want to add multiple ad groups to the same campaign. So what you can do is you can copy the row, paste it, and now I'm going to switch from software to maybe something like tools. So now I have 2 ad groups within the same one campaign. So just remember, you have to make unique rows for each thing. The same goes for keywords. If you want multiple keywords within the same ad group, within the same campaign, it would be a unique row. A little confusing at first, but if you're familiar with Sheets, Excel, it's just something that you get used to. So with that being said, let's go ahead and fill in our campaign name. Once you do, I recommend that you leave the campaign status as paused. If not, if you publish your changes prematurely, you can start spending money by accident. So just leave it paused. Ad group, what are the ad groups that you want within your campaign? So in this case, I've got 3 campaigns, 1 ad group per campaign. So I've got a North America campaign, EMEA, and APAC campaign. Next is your keyword. What's the keyword within these ad groups? So in this case, CRM software, my software ad group, customer relationship management software in this one, and then CRM cloud in this one. Next up is your criterion type. This is called our match type. So I've got these drop downs here for you to just make it super easy. So choose if it's an exact match, phase match, broad match, whatever match type you're using. So in this case, I'm using exact match. One really important note here is do not modify the column headers. These column headers are mapped to the Google Ads Editor import process. So for example, naturally you would call this match types and not criterion type, but Google Ads Editor reads based on criterion type, not match type. So it would cause an issue in the upload process. So just don't touch the headers. Next up is your bid strategy type. What bid strategy do you want to use for your campaign? I've got them all listed here for you just for easy reference. So manual CPC, max clicks, target ROAS, target CPA, so on and so forth. Just choose the right one with this drop-down field. Once you've done that, next up is we've got some tracking templates. So if you're using tracking templates for your campaigns, and if you're not, highly recommend it. It's very great because you can push dynamic value track parameters to push dynamic information based on, for example, keyword, what keyword drove the click, what device, what creative ID, and so on and so forth. So in this case, I've got a standard tracking template here with UTM source Google, medium CPC, UTM term is keyword, UTM campaign is using a custom parameter of campaign name where we can now push in the campaign name value. If you're not using tracking templates and you're just applying your UTMs directly in the ad level, you can just delete these columns and it'll be totally fine. This is additional information. Ad type is responsive search ad. And then here is where we're going to actually fill in our ad copy information. So I've got here headline 1 and then a headline 1 position. So if you did want to pin your headlines, you can. So for example, headline 1, I've got example 1 here as my copy, and then I have it pinned to position 1. Let's say you didn't want to pin your positions for whatever reason. You can just delete the value in there, and then it will not pin that headline position anymore. And we've got all the different ones here, so feel free to go crazy and pin and associate your headlines however you see fit. So headline 1, 2, 3, 4, all the way until 15. So you got all 15 headline spots here for you to fill out if you want to use the maximum amount of headlines available. And then the same thing for descriptions. So you've got your 4 variations of descriptions. So you can do description 1, position 1, description 2, position 2 if you wanted to pin, or again, just delete the value if you wanted to allow Google to serve however they see fit. And then last but not least is the path 1 and path 2 for your display URLs. And then finally is your actual final URL of where you're driving the ad to. So that is the campaign import template. Go ahead and fill this out. And that is going to be it for step number 1. Step number 2, once you have this all filled out, is we're going to want to actually copy this template and we're going to bulk import it into the Google Ads editor. So in terms of copying the data, you have a few options available. I figured this would be really helpful for you listening if you're not familiar with Google Sheets or Excel. So first things first, if you select campaign here and then you select Command A on your Mac or Control A, I believe, on a Windows, it'll just automatically select the entire table. And then you just do Command C or Control C if you're on a Windows, and it'll allow you to copy all of the information really easily. Another way you can do it is you can hold Command Shift, go down, and it'll allow you to bulk select like this. And then you hold Command Shift and go to the right, and it'll allow you to grab all of the information like that as well. So however you want to do it, but the thing I don't want you to be doing is I don't want you to be going like this. It's going to suck, especially when you have, you know, hundreds of rows. You got to level up your skills here with these shortcuts. All right, so now that we have our data copied, we're going to open up the Google Ads editor, and we're going to come here in the Google Ads editor, and you're going to select on the Google Ads editor your account. This is really important. Go to the account level, and then in the Google Ads editor window, you're going to want to click on account, import, and then you're going to import from text. So in my case, this is on a Mac, it's on the top, maybe on Windows it's a little bit similar, but you're going to click account, import, paste from text. And then once you've done that, this bulk import option is going to pop up, and then you're just going to paste your values in. So you can see here, I pasted my values in, and you can see it says not importing, not importing, not importing. This is when you know you did it wrong. So the first thing you want to do is you're going to make sure that you have the right field names associated with the values. So if you see something like this, this is incorrect. And the reason this is incorrect is because our headers are not in the right place. So when we did the copy paste, we did it incorrectly. So what we're going to want to do is we're going to want to go back to our spreadsheet here, and we're going to make sure that we select the right values. So in this case, I'm going to select all of my column headers, and then I'm going to come down and grab all my values. I'm going to copy it. I'm going to come back in here. I'm going to clear this, and I'm going to paste it again. And now you can see it's correct. I've got campaign, my associated campaign names. I've got campaign status, my statuses, ad group, my ad group values, keywords, criterion type, bid strategy type, my tracking templates, my ad type, headline, headline positions. If I keep scrolling through, you can see my descriptions, my description positions. So everything is mapped accordingly. Everything looks good. My final URL, amazing. You're going to want to make sure you leave your bulk change action as add or update, assuming you're creating something new. And then you're going to click process. And that's it for step number 2. Don't worry about these empty columns that say not importing. This is just because of the way I formatted the spreadsheet. So if you really look into the spreadsheet, you're going to notice that I'm using multiple rows or columns for the campaign field. And then the same thing for a couple of these other ones. And it's just to create better formatting and spacing. So don't worry about the not importing empty columns. Click process. And then once you've done that, you're going to see it added the campaign. So in our case, our 3 campaigns, our 3 ad groups. And then we're going to click finish and review changes. And then now what we're going to want to do is we're going to review our import, and we're going to want to adjust our campaign settings. So if I come back here, I can see we've got our 3 campaigns, and you're going to just want to just take a look through it. Just make sure, okay, is the right ad group in here? Within the ad group, do I have my right ads? So in this case, I can see I have my ad copy. Are all the values that I wanted to import actually imported is kind of the TLDR here. And as I'm going through it, I can see I'm actually missing something. So if I click on uncheck hide empty types, I can see I'm missing my keywords. So if this happens to you, it's common, especially when you're doing a bulk import with literally all of your values from scratch. So what I'm going to do in this case is I'm going to keep my changes. I'm going to come back here and I'm going to just grab my campaign and everything basically up into the keyword type here. So all of this information that's missing, I'm going to come back and I'm going to go to import, paste text. I'm going to paste my changes. I'm going to make sure it's add or update. I want to make sure my ad group is here, my keyword is here, my criterion type. I'm going to click process and you can see the 3 keywords were added. So if that does happen to you, that's how you fix it. And I'm going to click finish and review changes. And now let's just double check it's all here. We've got my ad group. I've got my keyword now. Is my keyword the right match type? It is, exact. Do I have my ad? I'm going to just clean up my filters here. Responsive search ads, ad, yes. Does it have my final URL? It does, amazing. So it looks like everything here is good. I'm going to go ahead and keep the changes. Now, the final step is you're going to want to go through your campaign settings and make sure you have the right campaign settings so that you're able to actually publish this. So you can see here, I've got a lot of errors. So some of these errors are relevant, others not. If you ever see this little red error like this with an exclamation point, that means you have to change something, something's broken, and it will not work if you try to post the changes live into your account. So in my case, you can see I don't have a budget associated with these campaigns. So a pro tip is if you hold shift and you go down with your up arrows or your down arrows, you can select multiple campaigns at the same time, saves a tremendous amount of time. And in this case, I'm going to bulk select all 3 campaigns and I'm going to associate the same budget. So for the sake of example, I'm going to put $50 and you can see I press enter and now each one of these campaigns got $50 applied at the exact same time. This is how we do it, right? We want to work smart and not just hard. So from here, you're going to want to go through the campaign settings and just make sure that it makes sense. So first thing I know that's off is I'm using search and display network. How I know that before I even looked at my campaign settings is just by looking at the icon here. I can see the search and display network icon here. That's a no-no. I don't want search and display combined on the search campaigns. So I'm going to want to make sure I adjust that. So I'm going to select each one of my campaigns here. On the right, under the campaign type here, under include display network, I'm going to click disabled. And then now I just bulk updated all of them. So they're only serving on the search network. In addition to this, you can go through it and make sure you apply the associated things. So if I wanted to choose an ad schedule, I can click edit here, and then I can drag what my ad schedule will be. So maybe I wanted to run ads. Actually, I'm going to undo that. Let's say I wanted to run ads from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday through Friday. Okay, apply that. Now I've got my ad schedule applied to all of my campaigns. If I wanted to do any bid adjustments at the campaign level, maybe I was targeting a specific device for my campaigns. So in this case, I've got all devices for these campaigns, but maybe I wanted to update them and only target desktop devices. So a way you could do that really easily is you can select all the campaigns here. And then under all 3 of these campaigns, what you can do is you can come here and you can go to bid adjustments, and I can do a -100 bid adjustment for mobile and tablet. And now I'm only showing on desktop devices as an example. So really cool stuff that you can do in the editor. In this case, I don't want to do that, so I'm going to delete it. And I'm going to keep scrolling through, just make sure everything looks good. My location and language targeting. My location targeting is set to the US. This is a common Google Ads trap people fall into. Make sure your targeting method is correct. So in this case, I want people who are in or regularly in my targeted location. So I'm going to switch that. I'm going to scroll through. This isn't really relevant because it's a search campaign, so I can ignore that. And the last piece here is just going to be the tracking template. So if I wanted to have a tracking template applied, I need to make sure that I see the tracking template here applied at the campaign level along with my custom parameters. So in this case, I can see I don't have a tracking template applied to these campaigns. So if you go back to my template here, I've got a tracking template that I could apply if I wanted to for my campaigns. So just for the sake of demonstration, I'm actually going to apply this right here. And then I've got a custom parameter of campaign name. So I'm going to grab that campaign name parameter And actually, to make my life easier, I'm going to just bulk select all of these and make sure that it's applied to all of them. And you can see it was already applied from the import. And now just grab my custom parameter. And if I'm losing you guys right now, this is just minutia. Like, you know, this is just making sure that my template is working in terms of my tracking template. But if this isn't relevant to you, please feel free to skip forward. From here, I'm going to put my campaign name for this campaign. So it needs to be one unique value per tracking template. So it would be like this. And then in this case, this one would be EMEA. And I would drop that in here. And then this last one would be APAC. Grab that. And I would drop it in here. So now I've got my tracking template set up at each campaign. So it'll automatically push in the right campaign name for that specific campaign. So really recommend you look into tracking templates. If this is something you're not familiar with, they're really incredible. And I can do a separate video on this. But the long story short is we've got our campaign settings correct. The last thing is labels. If you're using labels, you want to make sure you apply a label here. If not, you can leave it blank. So that is it. The hard work is over. Now what you're going to do is you're going to click post, and you're going to make sure you post the right items. So take a look here. We've got 3 campaigns, 3 ad groups, keywords, etc. If I look here, I see it says one post is 1. I've got 1 responsive search ad that won't post right now. So I need to see what's going on here. So I'm going to select these campaigns. I'm going to go to responsive search ads. I'm going to sort by the exclamation mark here. And I can see this is the ad that won't post. And I need to understand why won't it post? What's going on here? And I can see, oh, it's because I'm missing a description 1. So most likely in my campaign import, I forgot to fill in the values for one of the descriptions by mistake. So here I'm just going to fill it in. Description 1 for the sake of example. Description 2. And that's it. We have, let's just make sure we resolve the issue. Okay, cool. I think we're good. And you can see if you're like, what's going on here? What's the problem? It says this headline is the same as another. So I need to differentiate here. So headline 1, 2, and 3 are different. And now you can see the error is gone. So now we're going to click post, and you can see everything will post correctly. Our campaigns, our ad groups, our keywords, locations, and our ads. And that's we'll just click post, and now it'll be live in our Google Ad account. That is it for this video. I hope it was helpful. Again, if you want to get access to our campaign editor template, go ahead and click on the article in the description box down below. And if you're a B2B marketer watching this and you want to level up your advertising skill set with free courses taught by some of the world's best practitioners, then sign up for our free courses at AdConversion.com. And I will see you in the next video. Take care.